Alright, we have garden tour week 2, so technically this is 8 days after last week's tour. I'm going to try to do them every Wednesday, but with my work schedule and just life, that's not always going to happen. We had a really bad storm last night, so fortunately for me it watered the garden, but it's funny, I came home from running errands and stuff yesterday, and a lot of the stuff was like super dry. I hadn't watered in a couple days, so I was like taking little buckets because I was too lazy to get the hose out and taking like individual like drink buckets and pouring water in, but now it rained, so whatever. So once again we have weeds. Ignore those. The weeds are like out of control and I don't want to spray anything obviously, but yeah, so we have these 2 peppers. Like I said, one is Hungarian hot wax, or like 1 bucket's Hungarian hot wax, one's banana pepper. Don't know which is which because the labels got lost during when the greenhouse got lost, so, or blown over and destroyed. So yeah, we'll see what those look like. So just a side note, ignore like all the grass and stuff right here, but look at this volunteer sunflower. It's growing pretty well, but check out the stem. It's really big, but it like grew there and then it kind of just, I don't know, instead of going like straight up, it kind of went to the ground a little bit and then grew up. So interesting. And then behind that, we just have some potatoes. More weeds, ignore them. My little pots of like cool weather crops that are barely hanging on. So there's like cauliflower. And then back there is like, I think cabbage or broccoli or something. So then we have strawberries. I had to butcher these last week because we had a fungus infection or fungal infection. And it's still looking pretty sad and pathetic. Like I had to trim so much and it looks like there's still some of the fungal infection, so I'm going to have to do it again. Sorry, our neighbor's dog is whining in the background. They got a really cute puppy and apparently he wants in. This is the asparagus. Still, so I sprayed a bunch of bugs, but there's bugs right there getting it on. So what the hell? Yeah, there's just a bunch of bugs. So then we got the blueberries. The 2 plants, I planted them way too close. Probably should have put 1 here, but I put 2 a couple years ago. They're growing, but they're not turning blue. So we'll see what's up with that. Hopefully I'll get some blueberries out of it this year. So this is the first bed. Right here we have okra. This is one of them. There's 2 there and I didn't thin it, so I need to thin those. We have some calendula here, and then this massive thing here. It's huge, just like spilling out and everything. This is 1 sugar pie pumpkin, or small pie pumpkin plant. Like, look how big this is. My pumpkin, like I said last week in the video, it fell off. And I think there's like more in there. Oh, there's one over here. Let's go look. This pumpkin is much bigger than the one that fell off, so it looks like this one's doing good. I'm having a little bit of pollination issues. Like a lot of my squash is dying off. I'll show you that in a bit. One of my plants is too. Then we just have some little tiny okra starts. And then my zinnias never popped up, so I'm going to start some more seeds there. But yeah, it's just 2020 has been rough all around, even with the garden. So this is bed 2. This is the tomato and basil plant, or bed. So I went by and pruned a bunch yesterday. The little rope I'm using, or a little metal, it's rusted, but I don't really care about that. I just needed it to be secure. And then just have tons of blooms on these. Super excited. I did see a couple tomatoes on, like tomato starts on some, so I'm super excited for that. The basil flowered, which means it went bitter. And I had tried to prevent it from flowering, but then I actually ended up tasting a bite, like peeling a piece off and eating it, and it was super bitter. So I'm gonna let it just flower and go to seed. That way I could get some seeds out of it. And then the bees will like the flowers. This is my other basil plant. I think it's flowering too. This is the lemon basil one. It's started to flower as well. Like, it's just been really hot and humid. These are having some tomatoes, so I'm super excited. Those have some. This one is the Dark Galaxy, and it's starting to put on a bunch of tomatoes. And then let's see if any others have it. I need to be better about pruning, but it's hard for me to pinch off a sucker knowing it could come into a plant or turn into a plant. This one has some tomatoes on it. There we go, like right there and right there. Here is the other side of that tomato bed. So this is like a 7 or 8 foot bed by 2 feet, and I just spaced them super close together. I'm trying to single stem them, but this has lots of plants. They're growing big and tall, and then yeah, super excited for these. And then last week I took some suckers. They were suckers or like just leftovers in pots and planted them. They're a lot smaller than the rest, but last year I did the Florida weave method and it didn't work out for me because obviously this one is a lot shorter than like this one. And to do the Florida weave method, they all got to be about the same height. So that's why it didn't work out. So I'm doing something different this year. And then we just have some radishes back here. These are the English French breakfast. Looks like they're about ready to pull, at least some of them. They're supposed to be like a 28-day. Sorry, my neighbor's car's super loud. Not the ones with the puppy, the other neighbors. And then this is all the green beans. They're climbing up. Gotta add some more to the trellis. And then I think these are hollyhocks. They were kind of destroyed, but they seem to be growing back, so we'll see what they look like. But yeah, these are the green beans, growing pretty well. The tomato plants in the pots are doing pretty good. I have 5 in like these fabric pots. That has nothing in it. This one here, because it died. More weeds. More weeds. And more weeds I need to get through since it did rain last night to pull all these. This was going to be my eggplant area, but all my eggplants died. I do have 2 inside that are growing, but they probably will die too. I'm just not having the best of luck. More tomato plants. More tomato plants. And the cucamelons. I really need to get a trellis up for these. These are going crazy, which I love because these are so fun. And like I have a friend that's growing peppers that I'm not growing, or a certain variety, and she loves these. So we already talked about doing an exchange for like, I'll bring her some cucamelons if she'll give me some peppers. So yeah, this thing it has become like a huge, massive jungle. So crazy. I'm so excited for these. So this is bed 5. This is the onion. This is the hodgepodge of beds. This was originally just peppers and onions, but it is peppers, onions, dill, and tomatoes, because this was the tomato bed last year. So I kind of left a few volunteers. So this one here is the Jimmy Nardello. I've heard lots of good things about this in tons of videos, tons of like gardening groups. So when I saw seeds for this, I'm like, I have to grow it. It's supposed to be like a red Italian frying pepper. Look how big this thing is. It's like super long. And then over here I have an orange bell pepper. Sorry for sniffling. We got some onions. My dill is flowering, but I'm gonna let it. I'll just plant more dill, volunteer tomato, more onions. I'm gonna put, I have a couple extra pepper plants that I'm gonna just plant here that I thought had died and then they kind of came back. This one here is a volunteer tomato. It's getting pretty big. There's another one. And then back here is the one that I think is a Thai chili pepper, but I don't know because I mislabeled it. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. There you go, Thai chili pepper. So yeah, that's the peppers. So this is between the bed and the trellis, but I have a couple volunteer tomatoes and I just kind of left them because that's my method now. I'm just gonna, if it wants to grow, except for the weeds, I'm gonna let it grow. And look, I pulled weeds last week after I posted or filmed my last video, and look how many weeds I have already. The weeds are ridiculous, but I don't want to spray anything, so it's kind of a catch-22. So here we have the tomatillos. They're getting pretty big. So this is 2 plants for tomatillos. Look how big these are. These things will get massive. Last year I didn't plant very well and they got out of control. And then here's the pepper plants that grew too big. I think this one's a bean plant. It died, but it kind of started growing back. That's why I like gardening. If it wants to grow, it will grow. Sometimes it's really pretty, but yeah, that's like a Tanzanian pepper, and then these are 2 orange bells. I'm gonna put those in the bed because the other plants died. On the other side of the tomatillo bed, we have ground cherries, but only like 1 grew, and it's really small. I started some more seeds inside, so I'm not sure what will happen with that. And then here's the corn. I thought the wind last night, or like for this morning, was gonna blow it over really badly, but it didn't, so I'm happy. And then like the mint, 100% died, which I'm shocked. I figured it wouldn't die because that was so like strong. Here's another shot of that other volunteer tomato. More weeds. This tomato plant I need to put up against something so I can anchor it because it's starting to fall over. Then we have more tomato plants. They're looking pretty small. This one is a Dancing with Smurfs. I planted this one just based off the name because it was so funny. And then we have a single sugar snap pea that's trying to grow still. The others have died back. Some more tomatoes. More weeds. I just can't catch a break with these weeds, but I'm sure I've mentioned that 20 times. This one's a Brad's Atomic Grape. This one, oh, there's a big old spider web. I know spiders are good, but there's so many in here. So yeah, you can see there's the bed, there's the volunteer, and here's the other one. This one is a Berries Crazy Cherry. And then this one was the one that I thought I planted or ate last week. I was like, oh crap, a couple weeks ago I trimmed the wrong part. I thought I trimmed the branch and I trimmed the main part. So I was gonna pull it. I'm so glad I did it. Cause look, it grew back. From the part that I cut off, it grew back. That is so crazy. And this is a black cherry tomato. So, and then there's a sugar snap pea that's seen better days. Over here we have rattlesnake pole beans. These two here are kind of slumped over. I didn't realize it, and like my little leaning mat was like on them, so they kind of grew out to the side. So once they get tall enough, I'll just anchor it to the trellis. So I think I have like 6 of each of these. This one here, all in varying heights. Like this one here's obviously a lot taller than this one here. And then over here we just have, here they're all pretty much equal in height. So hopefully they'll get tall enough where I can start anchoring them to the trellis, and then they can start growing up the trellis. Here are my only 2 zucchini plants. That one's looking really small and sad. And then this one's looking a little better, has some flowers on it. This side of the trellis is against a fence. So I thought it was getting enough sunlight, but I don't think it is, because that one, compared to that one, is a lot smaller. These are where my cucumbers, I only had 1 cucumber on each side pop up. Super annoying because I had indoorly germinated them, stuck them in some water for a couple days, like a very, very thin thing of water in a cup with a lid on it. And a bunch of them germinated, but only 2 grew. So I wanted to grow certain ones so I could save the seeds, but I'm just going to plant a whole bunch of different types of pickling cucumbers. I have a bunch of different varieties, but I was wanting to just stick to one kind. But I just want cucumbers to pickle. I don't care about saving seeds this year. I'll just buy some seeds. And then this is the yellow squash. I can't even walk through here. So, I mean, I can, but it's going to be really hard. So I need to trellis these up. And then one of them is dying. I'm going to try to walk through here. There's some blooms, but I don't think they're pollinating either because they're all looking really sad and dying. Like that one looks okay, but like these ones back here are all dying. So I don't know. And then like this has a dying leaf. Who knows? I don't know what's going on. And then this one right here is just dying in general. Like a bunch of the leaves are really yellow and sad. And then these ones look okay. Tons of blooms, but as soon as they start putting on fruit, I'm gonna try not to step on them. As soon as they start putting on fruit, they start dying. So I'm thinking they're not gonna pollinate it. Because yeah, there's tons. But then like all of them, once they get that size, start dying. So I don't get it. And I put tons of the Trifecta Plus in here when I first planted these. So yeah, that one's dying. All these leaves are dead. I don't know what's going on with that. Then these 2 are Dark Galaxy tomatoes. They're really small, like compared to the fence. So we'll just see how they grow. Then this is a Scalloped Squash. It was the only one that grew, so I'm gonna have to probably plant some more seeds. But this, well, there's like 2 of them, but this one's pretty decent size and that one's small. Then we have some butternut squash. There's 2 over here. And then only 1 Minnesota midget melon. I planted like probably 20 seeds and only 1 grew. So yeah, overall the garden, there's some areas that are doing like amazing. There are some that aren't doing amazing, and there are some that aren't doing anything at all. But that's how it is with a garden. So I'm still pretty excited for what is producing, and gonna plant some more seeds, like plant some more cucumber seeds today, figure out what's going on with that squash, try to tie it up, tie up the cucamelons, and then probably plant some more squash seeds and flower seeds.